So I quit my job.
Hey guys, welcome back, Big Mama Tribe. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Tia.
And this is
Big Mama Energy. Welcome to anybody that's new to our channel.
Welcome.
Make sure you guys subscribe right now.
Hit
so
that bell.
You can see any videos that we post and hit that bell so you can get those notifications, okay?
Yes.
Alright, so you guys probably already know what this video is about. I quit my job of 7 years pretty much. Yeah.
It's a long journey.
It definitely was a long journey. Like I said, I was with the company for 7 years. I was a manager with the company. I was a training manager with the company. I worked my way up. So if you guys know me personally, this was not my first time attempting to leave the company. Maybe about a year or so back, I actually put in my notice. I actually gave them longer than 2 weeks. I gave them probably like a month and a half, but they wound up offering me more money, giving me the assistance that I needed. So let me tell you why I put my notice in before we even go into all of that. So originally I put my notice in because, you know, I felt like unsupported. I felt like it was just overwhelming. Like I said, I was a store manager, and I also was a training manager for the company. And being all of those things and having that title, those duties, it was very overwhelming. When you have people calling out all the time, when you have to, you know, hire people, hire people, make sure your staff is properly trained, do orderings, do scheduling, doing all these things, and just feeling like, you know, you didn't have that support from, you know, people that was higher up in the company. So during that time, like I said, I felt unsupported, so I put in my notice. I expressed. It was written really well. I was actually proud of myself. And then it was like, it shook the room pretty much. Everybody is like, once I sent that out to the people that I sent it out to, everybody was like, whoa, what is going on? Why is Tia sending this? Do you know about this? And it like really got everybody like gears just going. So long story short, pretty much they offered me more money. At the time, I didn't have an assistant manager. I was supposed to. After they even gave me the raise, pretty much, my assistant manager took a little longer to get to me, but eventually I did get an assistant manager. My director that was above me, pretty much my manager, he pretty much stepped up a little bit more, and everything seemed to be okay. I felt like okay with that because at the time I did feel like I was underpaid and overworked for the amount of duties and responsibilities I had. So okay, they gave me the extra money, and they also got me my assistant manager eventually, and then, you know, my director was giving me more attention when I needed, because I'm not one of those managers that really need a lot of attention. It was just more so like when things get rough, because sometimes things get rough, I needed that support. And because they knew that I was just such a strong employee or such a strong manager, they'll like put me to the back burner, like, oh, okay, it's okay,
like she's cool.
Yeah, like it's okay. But me personally, how I feel like the ones that never give you any issues, never call you about anything, when they call, that's how you know that it's important, and you shouldn't put it to the side.
Absolutely.
And then it was just situations where, you know, if I'm emailing you, I'm calling you, and you putting things off, and then when it gets to your boss, because you know everybody has a boss, right? So I'm going to my director and telling him these things, and he's disregarding me. So now when things are starting to slowly fall apart, you're coming to me like, you know, I'm not doing my job to cover yourself, because now your boss is looking at you a certain way. And I'm not the type of person that's just gonna be like, oh no, that's not, you know what I mean, or not say anything at all. Like, I'm gonna always speak my mind and stand up for myself. So every time, that's what would happen pretty much. Like, if my director came to me and like, oh, well, why is this like that? Oh, it's not like this because you didn't answer any of these calls. I have emails, I have texts, I have receipts. So that's kind of how that went. For a while, everything seemed to be pretty good. You know, COVID happened. So when COVID happened, hours got cut and the managers had to step up. Okay, we had to work in position hours now. Now, me being a manager of a busier store and also a training manager, I never had to work in position. But COVID hit, they cut hours, and I understood that because they don't really have the money to really pay everybody now that the store hours then got cut. They didn't really know if they're going to stay afloat. Okay, boom, I understand that. However, with them cutting hours, they have the managers working in position. Okay, that's fine. But you have managers working in position by themselves and still having to order things, you know, doing the weekly orders, having to do schedules. You wanted us on, sometimes it'll be 2 to 3 conference calls a week, but I'm in position. I'm doing all of these duties, and, you know, running a store by myself and still having to do my manager duty. Things got overwhelming because during COVID as well, you have the unemployment thing that's going on. You know, people didn't want to work. So people would start doing things in order to get fired. And then, you know, applicants isn't coming in really that much because they're like, why would I apply for a job when I'm getting paid better on unemployment at home doing nothing?
And it's also scary to work. Some people were scared to work during that time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So there's that.
So it just was overwhelming. A lot of things definitely started to fall on me. As we started to get a little bit busier, they were adding more hours to the schedule, but a lot of people still did not want to work because they felt comfortable, you know, at home. And
we're in the middle of riots going on. Like, you had to go to work through so much stuff.
It was a lot of stuff.
It didn't stop.
It was a lot of stuff going on, exactly, with the riots, the curfews, and then let's not talk about Ubers, okay? Uber's out of their mind.
Uber's tripping still.
Uber's out of their mind, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not getting compensated for that. Like, you're not paying me back these Uber rides or nothing. I'm not getting reimbursed. So it's like back and forth to work every day, 5 days out of a week, sometimes 6 if I gotta pick up somebody's shift. You know, it was just very overwhelming, and to the point that I felt myself breaking down. Like, I could feel my body like telling me, Tia, you need a rest, you need a break, rest. And the type of person I am, I'm very responsible, so I felt like I couldn't neglect my duties and responsibilities as a manager. That's just who I am. But after a while, I was like, I can't go on like this. So I emailed, you know, the person that was head of the people's department, which is HR, and I just let her know in the email, like, I'm very, very tired, mentally drained, and I need a break because I'm pretty much feel myself coming to my breaking point, and it's not going to be good for anybody. You know, how could I lead my team and manage my team if I'm not 100% myself? And that's pretty much what I said. She reached out to me through the phone, via phone call. She called me up, and pretty much she didn't really give me any type of answer. You know, I told her I was interested in taking a leave of absence, and pretty much she's like, oh, what did you talk to, you know, your director? I'm like, no, I'm talking to you because you're the people's, you know, HR. I'm seeing what my options are. And she pretty much, I feel like she fleed me. Like, you didn't really give me an answer. What are you here for if you're the people's department? Like, you didn't. I feel like I called, and I feel like if I was somebody else, it would have went differently. Personally, that's how I feel. But it was just disregarded. And this is somebody that's been a loyal employee for 7 years, never had any type of documentation written of nothing, come to work when I'm in pain. You get what I'm saying? So to be kind of disregarded like that, it kind of made me shut down and just like, okay, well, what was the point, you know?
I feel like they didn't care.
It was like it didn't matter, you know what I mean? Because as long as you're in the store doing your job, that's all that matters. And that's kind of how I felt. So this was about 3 weeks ago, okay? So last week she emailed me asking me how I was doing. And again, I said exactly how I felt. Okay?
And that was still how you felt prior?
It's still how I felt prior. You know, because she's like, how are you doing? It's the same. I'm stressed out and I really need to disconnect. You know what I mean? I need to disconnect in order to get better. You know what I mean? And it was like, it wasn't connecting with her, like, clearly. Because me personally, if I was, you know, HR, head of a business, whatever the case may be, if somebody's coming to me telling me that they're mentally, like, unstable and not able to, like,
perform their job,
fully perform their job and their daily duties as a manager, I will look into that and I will like, okay, well, listen, this is what I could do for right now, because clearly you need a break. None of that was done. None of it was done.
That's where they dropped the ball.
That's definitely where they dropped the ball. Sunday came, this Sunday that just passed, and well, let's not even talk. Let's go back to, you know, the beginning of last week. So it was a lot of situations where people, you know, quitting. People not even quitting, but doing, like I said, doing things to get fired, not showing up for shifts. It was a lot of people calling out, and I would have to, you know, cover their shifts and work in position. And I just felt like it was a lot of me doing everything. And even with some of my employees, it's like, you know, I support you guys. Like, you call me, you ask me, hey, can I do this, or I need this day off, and you know, I always do what I can. And I just felt like, you know, it wasn't reciprocated when it was time for me to need time to myself. Like, if my back was hurting or something, nobody can come in and cover, but I'm constantly picking up shifts and doing all of these things. So what happened was, on Sunday I hit my breaking point. So pretty much I got a call. I literally wasn't in the store for 5 minutes. Got a call, and pretty much the person that was supposed to close called me and told me that they could not close. I just had to do a open till 10 o'clock at night the night before because they could not work their shift the day before. So now I come in to open the store on Sunday, and I get a call, like I said, 5 minutes after I walk into the store, and it's the same person saying they will not be able to come in and cover their shift for the rest of the night, like pretty much to close, which means that I would get stuck having to do an open and close. And that was just the breaking point. Now, mind you, have I done an open and close before? Absolutely, I have. But that was just it. It was just like, enough is enough. Like, I'm done. I can't do this no more. I'm over it. It's done. You know what I mean? And honestly, that's not what I wanted. Like, it wasn't premeditated for me to just go in there and be like, you know what, I'm done. But that was it. That was the breaking point. Icing on the cake. It's over. Because
the straw that broke the camel's back.
Absolutely, because it was just too much. Because it's like, I'm a human. Like, what are you talking about?
Where's the support?
Where is the support?
Yeah.
You know, and then I didn't just, you know, lock the store up and leave. I called people. I definitely called them and told them, like, listen, I can't do this. I'm done. Like, I'm quitting. I can't do this. I called the person who was head of people's HR, and you know, I'm talking to her, and she's acting as if I didn't email her 3 weeks ago and telling her how I was feeling. Oh, Tia, but why would you let this get so, you know, why would you let this linger, and why would you get to your breaking point before you say anything? I emailed you 3 weeks ago and told you exactly how I felt.
And you did nothing.
But you did nothing. So, talk to her still. And I'm just saying, like, you know, I just don't feel supported. She was even trying to get me to, you know, stay and trying to talk to me and stuff. And, you know, in the midst of me talking to her, and I'm just saying, like, I just don't, there's no support. I feel so unsupported. And she says to me, well, you keep saying that, but that's not true. And that completely confused me, because how are you telling me that it's not true? If it wasn't true, I would not be here.
So now she's telling you how you should feel.
Pretty much.
Like, what? Not only are you ignoring what I said, and have you ignored it, you're going to tell me how I should feel.
Yeah.
And that is wrong how I feel.
Yeah, but I mean, clearly what I said was right, because after I left, because I did, it was nobody, well, I'm waiting till I get there. So after I got off the phone with her, she was like, I really think you need to talk to your director. Da, 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 da. So she gets off the phone with me, and she tells me that she's going to call my director, because at this point my director was gone. He was on vacation for 2 weeks. So couldn't get in contact with him, so my senior director called me, and my senior director was like, what's going on? And this is how you know, because if I came to you, HR, you should have said something to my directors. What's going on? What's going on?
You should have already been in the loop.
Everybody should have been in a loop at this point, but nobody knows, right? So he's like, what's going on? Like, you want to quit? And I'm like, yeah, you know, and I'm expressing to him how I feel. And he's like, oh, well, you know, you want to put your 2 weeks in? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I can go on 2 more weeks feeling unsupported and, you know, feeling all of this. Like, I'm mentally drained, I'm emotionally drained, and I don't know if I can do this any longer. So he's like, well, you know, can you at least work your shift? And this is also where you went wrong, because somebody that was here for 7 years, you know what I mean? I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term, but my name rung bells in this company. Let's be clear. You know, not to be cocky, but it really did. So for me to come to y'all and tell y'all, like, I'm mentally, I need a break, and for y'all to just disregard it, it was hurtful. You know, it's like, wow, you know, I really don't mean shit to y'all.
After all this time.
After all of this time. I really don't mean shit to y'all.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was no OT. I understand. You know, you need a break. That's fine. Go home. Rest up. We'll get somebody in here. We'll do whatever we can. It was just, oh, well, are you going to finish your shift? And then where he had me all the way fucked up is when he told me, after I said, I don't know if I can do this. Oh, well, you know, you gotta give us some time to get somebody in. I don't have to do anything. That's when I knew. I said, okay, yeah, it's really done. Yeah, no, I'll take my keys to another store, and that'll be the end of this, whatever this was, because, yeah. So, yeah, that's how I quit my job. How do I feel right now? I feel good. I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm starting to get the rest that I need. Am I worried? At the time, no, I'm not. And this is something that I want to say to everybody, is if you don't have that faith, do not quit your job, because it will, like, drive you insane. You really have to have that faith and say, like, you know what, this is not serving me, you know, my health is more important, I am more important, and move on. If you can't do that, then don't quit your job, because it probably would drive you crazy, honestly. Yes, it's only been maybe 3 days now, but I don't miss it.
Is it like a weight lifted, or you know what I mean?
it's still only 3 days. You know what I mean? It's still only 3 days.
New.
It's still new. But it's definitely a weight lifted. Like, I don't have people calling my phone all day long or texting me dumb stuff that they know. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's relieving. It's refreshing, you know, to get rest. And that's all I needed. I just needed some rest, you know. I just needed time to just rest my body, you know, collect my thoughts. It was just, I felt so restless, like I couldn't even think right. I felt like, you know,
you couldn't pour it back into yourself.
No, at all. So right now, no. And will I in the future? I can't say what the future will bring, like if I'm going to feel away. But right now, I don't. And what I feel is like it no longer serves me. I feel like honestly, it been time for me to go. And I prolonged that.
You toughed it out for a long time.
Definitely. You will be a slave to the paycheck. Let's be clear. You know, because you get used to getting that weekly or every 2 week income. You're used to that check.
Right.
But it's not worth it.
It's not.
It's really not worth it. Because look at how I was treated. I feel like if I would have stayed and something would have happened to me and I ended up in a hospital, then what?
They'd have just been finding your replacement for whenever you came back.
Exactly. I mean, so is it worth putting your own health at risk for a job? Absolutely not.
Because let's be clear, the owners and the higher ups, they're at home, comfy cozy. Okay, while you slaving away. Like, honestly. And
that's what I didn't understand. Is there a person, you know, that's been so loyal to the company, you know, a good asset to the company? As for one thing, I've never came to them and said anything about this is how I feel, you know.
That's usually when you find out who's who. When you need something from a person or a company, that's when you find out who's real and who's not. You know, who actually cares, who's genuine, and who doesn't.
Right.
You'd be surprised. You ask for one thing.
Yeah.
And they can't give it to you.
Couldn't give it to me.
Just a break.
But my thing is, okay, so after I left, so I told you how she said, oh, you know, that's not true. You keep saying you're not supportive, but that's not true. If it wasn't true, why did the store close for the rest of the night? Why was nobody able to come in and run this store if there's so much support?
Where's it at? Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right.
If there's so much support, there's no reason why somebody couldn't have came in and ran that store.
Just for that night even. Like, what?
But I mean, case is closed. My thing is, like I said, I've been with that company for almost 7 years, so I'm not going to throw dirt on their name. I'm not going to say everything was all bad. But my time is over, and I'm moving on.
Bigger and better things.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. But yeah, so that's the story about how I quit my job. I know a lot of people is going to be like, what? But right. Yeah, it happened. Let's move on.
Move forward.
moving forward. Okay.
It's a new day.
Definitely. I know that I will be just fine.
Oh, you will.
I'll be just fine. I'll be great. I know what I added to the company. That's why I was there for so long. And yeah, that's me. You know what I mean? That's all me. That's within me. So I'm gonna be great, honestly. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, and then it's time to pour back into yourself.
Absolutely. You know, bigger things is coming. Y'all need to wait for it because it's definitely on the way.
Yeah,
for sure. Let's be clear.
Excited.
Okay. I'm definitely excited for new ventures, you know what I mean? Pouring it, like you said, pouring it back into us, into ourselves, and doing things for us. You know? Yeah, I'm excited about it. Definitely excited about it. But yeah, Drop them comments. I know some of y'all gonna have some comments for me. Yes.
Drop them below. And if you quit your job, you know, let us know on that and how that went.
Right. Or even if you're like back and forth, like maybe
debating on it.
Debating. But like I said, definitely don't, because you see this video, be like, oh yeah, I'm quitting my job. Like, don't do
Disclaimer.
That's not for you.
It's not what we telling you to do.
That's not what we're telling you to do. Because like I said, this is not for everybody.
Right.
It's just where I'm at, me and my mental. It was only, this is it.
This is her truth.
This is my truth. This is what I decided to do for me. I'm not saying that this is for you. I'm not saying that it's not for you.
Right.
But you definitely have to think about it and make sure that that's a decision that you want to make and will be okay with.
And are ready to make.
And yeah, is ready to make.
For sure. That transition, you know. So.
But yes, definitely do whatever feels best for you. You know. Yeah.
And as always, don't forget to
like,
share,
comment,
and subscribe.
Bye guys.
Bye.